If you're bored, join me, annoy me. Gusto ko marinig ninyo yung yung ingay din ng lugar namin. You know, this is what I encounter on a day-to-day basis, even if I'm sick. So, kahit may lagnat ako, may sakit ako, yan, yung ingay na yan ang parati kong naririnig. This is on a daily basis, ha. Imagine. Kanina, ang dami nagchat-chat. Dami nagtatanong about updates sa DepEd, about concerns about matatag curriculum. Ang dami. Sobrang daming tanong kanina. It's very surprising na our country is walang pinagbago. We're dealing with the same type of government. Actually, it just gets worse. Yun nga, na-mention ko, yun yung ginawa kong reels about the 20 million budget for food on a single event. In-increase ko na nga yun ginawa ko na nga 10,000 yung attendees Imagine 10,000 attendees. For food, yung budget mo is 2,000. Sino ang kakain? Ano yun? Are they so in such high status to be on the elite of the elites para magkaroon ng budget na 2,000 for food? Grabe. 2,000 para sa pagkain per person. Ang mahal ng bigas, sobrang mahal ng bigas, ang sobrang mahal ng bilihin, the government raise for pay and salaries, wala pa rin pababago. We can't live with the current salaries we have. Right now with the inflation that is occurring in our country. And yet, we have the gall to lead the country and pay 20 million pesos for food budget. And then, may secretary ka ng MMDA na gagawa ng ramp para sa mga disabled na tinalo pa yung slide ng Enchanted Kingdom. Gusto ko siya makita sumakay ng wheelchair. Tapos, sumakay siya ng wheelchair tapos try niyang bumaba. Gusto ko siya makita, itry. Subukan niya. Actually, yung secretary o chairperson ng MMDA, ano na yan CPA and lawyer. Yung ano niya, yung credentials niya, CPA and lawyer at the same time. Gusto ko siya makita sumakay ng wheelchair. Try lang, sumakay siya ng wheelchair, try niyang umakyat, and then pag nakakita siya sa taas, try niyang bumaba. Gusto ko siya makita. Gusto ko talaga siya makita ang bumaba. dun sa ramp na yon. And then, third thing, Davao City is experiencing some issues with its management in the police sa PNP. Alam niyo siguro yung balita na in one day, 3 beses pinalitan yung head ng Philippine National Police dito sa Region 11 ng Davao City. To be specific sa Davao City. In one day, 3 beses pinalitan. All coming from, of course, the central. And yet, si Secretary Abalos is actually a mainstay sa Black Rider. Artista pala yung secretary natin, ano? Akala ko ba bawal ang double compensation sa government? Pwede yun? Magsha-shooting siya while being the secretary? Ano yan? I'm not familiar with the different salary grades mechanism in terms of attendance talaga, no? Ay, hindi ako familiar dyan. But in terms of delicadeza, you're the Secretary of the Department of Interior and Local Government. Why the heck would you want yourself to be in a position na madali kang makita ng mga tao na you are also being paid at the same time by a private entity as an actor? While being seated in the government as the DILG Secretary. And in fact, even in your role in that particular teleserye or sitcom, you are also the DILG Secretary. What the hell? Parang, ano yun? Marketing at the same time na I am the DILG Secretary in real life as well as in teleserye. I just don't get it. So you're paid by the government, by our taxes, by my tax as well. At the same time, you're being paid as an actor by a private entity on a regular basis. Ano na ba itong bansa natin? Are we really returning into the same type of government that the United States have? Choosing between Trump and Biden? It's like choosing between the lesser evil, Trump, Biden, and we have the Philippines being led by these incompetent people. Rampa para sa mga PWDs, a DILG secretary who should be managing the local government in our police force, who is also the DILG in a teleserye. Oh my goodness. And of course, a president that is willing to pay 20 million for a food budget just for a single event. Ano ba yan? Kung maintindihan ang bansa natin, the Philippines is just so messed up. Sensya niyo ako, may sakit ako eh. I've been sick for 3 days. Ngayon lang ako medyo naging okay. Then, wala akong trip. Nag-live ako. Gusto ko ilabas yung hinaing ko. Alam nyo, when you work in the government, regardless of your position, kahit gano'ng kalit pa yung posisyon mo sa opisina ng gobyerno, pag may hawak ka ng ID, nakalagay dyan yung pangalan mo, and then may logo ng department, ng government, na kung saan ka mang ahensya nakatalaga, whether you like it or not, you have already declared to the whole city that you are in, to every individual that enters your office or your institution, you have immediately declared that you are a public servant. You're there for public service. Whether you like it or not, you're in the service industry. And I really hope hindi yan makalimutan ng mga mas mataas yung sweldo na nasa gobyerno. That you are there, you are here, along with me, like anybody else who is in public service. We are here to serve the general public. We have different mandates, we have different key result areas, we have different key performance indicators, but at the end of the day, even if you're the secretary of an agency, you are still a public servant in the same way that I am a public servant. The president of this country is still a public servant. Service industry. Servant. Service industry. Do I need to stress on that? Service industry. And we are serving the general public. The welfare of the people. Pero puto maya. Puto maya naman. Anyari sa Pilipinas eh. Public servants are serving themselves. I've always advocated on a reverse pyramid mechanism when it comes to bureaucratic agencies. The higher your post is, the bigger your KRAs are, then therefore, the bigger your responsibilities are. Hindi dapat baliktad. Yung mechanism kasi, ang framework kasi ng bureaucratic agency natin ngayon, baliktad eh. The lower your post, the lower your salary grade, the bigger are your responsibilities. Kasi, pinapasa lang nung nasa taas yung trabaho sa baba. Kasi nga, term nila ginagamit nila parati, delegation of responsibilities. A good manager or a good leader knows how to delegate different functions and roles of different individuals to function well. Walang problema dun. Pero, the big problem with that is, at the end of the day, the responsibility falls higher dun sa nasa baba. Pero they are less paid. Balik na rin natin. Balik na rin kaya natin. Try to reverse it. Let's pay those who are in the below hierarchy of the framework higher than those in the higher hierarchy. Tingnan natin kung may gusto pa bang maging defense secretary. Ay, Maharlika funds. Magkano hiningi niya yung sweldo niya? 2.5 million a year? Just to become the head for the Maharlika funds. His asking price for his salary is 2.5 million. Yan, gagawin niya, mag-uutos lang naman. Let's be honest. He will not be the brain. He will be the decision maker. He will not be the brain to plan everything out. Of course not. He will just decide which one is the path that you're going to take. Kakapagod tong ganitong klaseng gobyerno. 20 million just for food budget. Lintik na serbisyo publiko to. Serbisyo sarili talaga eh. Ang ending na naman ito, sasabihin na naman nila, aktivista talaga yan si Sir Weds. Ayan, ganyan yan si Sir Weds. Ganyan magsalita ng Sir Weds kasi aktivista talaga yan. Ano ko? Red tag nyo na ako lahat-lahat. Wala kayong makikita ang affiliation ko sa kahit anong grupo. Yun lang ang ano dun. Annoying na part. No, we are here trying to be, we're trying to become good public servants by doing our best to be able to deliver the necessary expected or expectations from us based on the job descriptions that were given to us. Oh, sana talaga may demotion sa government. As in, sana they will implement a demotion scheme para sa gobyerno. Yung tipong hindi na papetiks-petiks kasi nasa gobyerno na, parang wala na, okay na sa kanila eh. Sana may ganung scheme. Kasi naalala ko, kasi hindi naman kasi DepEd talaga yung unang. I've also worked in private companies and corporations. Sa GSES, Global Connect E-Solutions, which is a private company, call center. I remember before, iba yung power ng HR over those who are running the company. The HR evaluates even those who are running the company. Dito kasi, the HR is below those who are running the company. Kaya hindi kayang magbigay ng true evaluation ng HR. Kasi natatakot din sila. Dahil kung totohanin lang talaga, ako I actually believe na every politician will have at least one impeachment case during his career. Ingay nila, no? Padaanin mo natin. What do I mean by that? Hindi ako naniniwala na lahat ng politiko are 100% honest. I don't believe that. I don't believe that all politicians are 100% honest. At the same time, I also don't believe that just because they are not honest, they deserve to be criticized. When it comes to politics, we will always choose the lesser evil. Yan naman talaga eh. Yeah, I do mean every politician is evil. Politics is evil. I'm not saying politicians are, but the politics in the Philippines is evil by nature. I'm really not feeling well. Hindi maganda yung politika sa bansa. No one in his right frame of mind will blatantly be a public servant and openly be an actor in TV at the same time. Kasi alam mo, like any other official or public servant, you are paid by the hour. And you're paid by taxes. Umulan na. Teka. Training. Pasok muna ako. Umulan na sa labas eh. Sa terrace kasi ako. Lipat ako dito. Yun. So I was saying, no one in his right frame of mind would actually be alam mo yun, mag-aartista ka. At the same time, ikaw yung DILG secretary. Di ko makuha paano siya paano siya nagkaroon ng guts na gawin niya yun. Harap-harapan mong papakita sa publiko na binabayaran ka ng tax ng mga tao, pero you're not going to devote 100% of your effort para doon kasi gusto mong maging artista. Buti sana kung magaling kang artista, subpar naman yung acting skills mo. Klase yun. Ba yan? Yung klase? Sekretary ka ng ahensya ng gobyerno? Mag-aartista ka at the same time? Yung presidente natin, gagastos ng 20 million para sa pagkain sa isang event. Baka yung sinasabi niya 20 pesos na bigas, 20 million na sona pala siguro ibig niya sabihin doon, no? Tigbe-benting bigas? O baka tigbe-20 million na sona? Pagkain pa lang? Baka ganun. Ang layo na mararating ng 20 million eh. Kung idadagdag mo yung 20 million sa teacher's allowance, layo na nun. Pero ang ganda talaga ng ramp. Yung ramp talaga, ng MMDA. Ito may tanong. Ano daw yung masasabi ko tungkol sa naging resignations ng mga secretaries, undersecretaries ng DepEd? I think it's normal. Normal naman eh. Every DepEd secretary, for every change of administration kasi, they will always have, parang it's a practice, common practice na siya, that they will hand over their resignation, parang courtesy resignation. But of course, this time around, parang hindi siya courtesy resignation eh. Yung nangyari talaga eh. Kasi prior the change of leadership, hindi pa naupo si Secretary Angara, Secretary and Senator and Secretary Angara. Nag-file na sila ng kanilang resignation din. So yun yung Ang courtesy resignations kasi nagaganap usually after the change of leadership. Yari, sa time ni Secretary Luistro, when Secretary Biones took over the Department of Education, nung nag-change na ng leadership, saka pa nagkaroon ng courtesy resignation. And then some of them will be retained, some of them will not. Ganun yun. Yung nangyari lang kasi talaga ngayon is medyo different. So, let's call spades as spades. Talagang ayaw nilang mag-serve under the new leadership of Secretary Angara. For whatever reason, hindi natin alam. But the immediate presumption would be is that they were loyal to our Vice President and former Secretary, Inday Sara. Ganun yun. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's definitely nothing wrong with that. Walang masama dun. It's not about politics or what. It's loyalty. Let's not tangle loyalty with politics. Kahit sabihin na natin may politics siya, but we look at it as on the part of loyalty. They were hired by VP former Secretary Inday Sara. So, when Inday Sara declared that she will leave the agency, they too went out with her. Ganun lang. Loyalty yun. And walang masama dun. I don't take it negatively. I don't take it against them. And I don't take it against DepEd. Because at the end of the day, I have yet to see solutions with the perennial problems of our agency. Again, I am not pro or anti-government. Okay? I am not pro Marcos. I am also not anti-Marcos. I am not pro Duterte. I am also not anti-Duterte. I am not pro Dilawan. I am not also anti-Dilawan. I just don't care. All I care about is I'm a public servant. under the Department of Education. So my eyesight, my vision will only cover the issues within my work, within my agency. Yun lang yung sa akin. Whoever leads my agency that I belong to, for as long as they are able to lead well and they are competent enough to address the perennial issues of our agency, kahit sino pa yan siya, kahit pa yan siya inchik, kahit pa yan siya si Alice Go, kahit si Alice Go pa yung secretary ng DepEd, kung masosolve na yung problema ng DepEd, I will applaud her. I will commend her. I will acknowledge her. Ganun yun. Because I am in the public service. I am in the service industry. Who will ever allow my service to be more efficient and effective is of great value in my line of work. So, ganun yun. Pasasalamatan ko siya. Pero yun pa rin eh. We still have the same perennial problems of our agency. O, yung mga fans natin dyan na walang ginawa kundi manood sa mga videos natin, mag-screenshot ng mga post ko, o baka i-twist na naman ninyo. Tutulungan ko na kayong mag-twist. Sabihin nyo na naman, anti-DepEd ako, hindi ako anti-DepEd. Maka-DepEd ako, in fact, makaguro ako. Kasi ang advocacy ko has always been, if the life of the teacher is easy, teaching will become easier. If teaching will become easier, learning will also become a lot easier. And because learning is a lot easier, it will immediately take effect to our learners. Yon ang advocacy ko. Kaya karamihan ng mga innovative programs ko, pagpapadali ng trabaho ng guro. Hindi kung paano ituro lang mas madali itong ganito, hindi para paano ituro yung competency na ganyan. Hindi ganun yung mga innovation projects ko, hindi. Kasi naniniwala ko sa contextualization and or localization of teaching. So, diskarte yan ng guro. Pero yung trabaho ng guro, kung mapapadali mo yun, automatic may epekto yun sa bata. So, hindi ako anti-DepEd. Hindi ako anti-Duterte. Kasi I have been living in Davao City for 39 years. And I have been safe, relatively safe in Davao City. Though once na-hold up ako when I was in college. Oh, well, yeah. I'll be honest enough to admit that. My best friend and I, we were walking in the wee hours of the night kasi we were trying to finish some of our papers in college na isasubmit na the following, a couple of days after that. Yun yung tinrabaho namin. Yun, na-hold up kami sa kalye in Ecoland. Diyan sa may tennis court. Diyan kasi yung boarding house nila. Well, hindi nga na-recover yung mga gamit namin. Pero nakita ko sa TV na nabalita pa rin na nahuli nila yung tatlong nang hold up sa amin. So at least justice was still served in one way or another. So I am not anti-Duterte. The safety and security that I am living in this metropolitan is still something that is commendable. So, okay ako doon. Totoo man o hindi ang DDS. Kaya ako pake. Kung totoo yan, basta mas nagiging safe ako dito, okay ako. O, bahala kayo dyan. Kung kailangan bang idaan sa ganun para maging safe yung isang syudad, okay, fine. Then so be it. Hindi rin ako anti-Marcos. In the way that the sins of the father and the sins of the son are relative. Wala yun. Tinatamasa man ng anak yung mga kasalanan na nagawa ng ama o yung mga natamo ng ama na pangungurako, totoo man yun o hindi, nakuha man ng mga, nabibinipisyuhan man yung mga anak, labas ako dun. Because I was not born during martial law. There are certain issues that I agree with Marcos. Even when he was still a senator. There are. But, I do not agree with the 20 million food budget. Wala talaga akong, hindi ko makikitaan ng magandang rason kung bakit magiging justifiable, reasonable ang 20 million na food budget considering that hindi nga niya matupad yung tig 20 pesos na bigas. Hanggat hindi niya magagawang iahon sa hirap yung mga Pilipino ngayon, wala siyang karapatang magbigay ng 20 million budget para sa isang event. Kahit pa yan siya SONA. Hindi reasonable, hindi justifiable. Matatag curriculum. Matatag curriculum. What about matatag curriculum? Paki-explain ng tanong. Bakit ba ayaw nyo mag-comment sa video? Bakit idadaan nyo sa messages? Ito yung takot yung mga guro mag-comment. Yun, idadaan nila sa messages, Karamihan talaga sa teacher, takot mag-comment. Takot kayong ipatawag? Takot kayong ipamemo? Huwag kayong magalit sa sasabihin ko, Kasi, typing pa siya, Huwag kayong magalit sa sasabihin ko, Mga guro, mga teachers, mga kaguro. If you're afraid to fight about what you love, then you do not love it at all. Yan. Hindi nyo ipaglalaban kung hindi nyo ito mahal. Mahal ko ang DepEd, kaya pinaglalaban ko yung mga guro. Okay. So, ito yung tanong niya. About sa 45 minutes na recalibration. Okay. Wala pa kasing formal na DepEd order or DepEd memorandum about this. Ang issue ko kasi with matatag curriculum is revamp kasi siya ng K-12. In fact, K-10. Grade 1 to 10, di ba? Actually, damay pa rin ng kindergarten kasi may ano din yung kindergarten di ba kasama sila sa matatag? Di ba? Oo. Kindergarten to grade 10 Ang issue ko kasi dyan is, the K-12 curriculum stood because of a Republic Act. May batas talaga ang K-12 curriculum. Itong matatag curriculum, tinawag mo kasi siyang, branded kasi siya as matatag curriculum. Na ang focus niya is kinder to grade 10. Wala kasi siyang legal basis. So, nagkaroon siya ng piloting Yung piloting naman, I really think minadali. Kasi isang taon lang yung piloting. So, kaya, for me, nagtataka ako, how long will this stand kung wala siyang legal basis? Second, are the results of the pilot testing enough to implement it nationwide? How feasible was the pilot testing results to be adapted on a different region or on a different local? Yung universality niya ba? Kaya medyo apprehensive ako sa matatag curriculum. So, I understood the advocacy na kinonte yung competencies, binago yung mga learning areas. Kaya ibang curriculum talaga siya kasi binago yung learning areas K-12 curriculum kasi merong batas Matatag curriculum kasi wala So, I don't know. Pwede ba talaga? Saan yung abogado natin? Pwede ba to? Kasi yung K-12 may batas Yung framework ng K-12, yung learning areas na nakapasok sa kanya, yun yung ng K-12. Yung matatag curriculum, binago Tinanggal ito, pinalitan ito, tinanggal ang MTB, ginawa na lang siyang learning delivery, pinasok ang reading, pinasok yung language, tinanggal ang ESP, ginawa ko siya ulit na JMRC, tinanggal yung araling panlipunan sa grade 1, tama ba? Ginawang makabansa. Parang bumalik tayo sa BEC Yung original, yung BEC, yung Basic Education Curriculum, before K-12, parang nag-revert So, kung gagamitin nila na legal basis, yung legal basis ng BEC, yung K-12 na legal basis amends the BEC legal basis. So, hindi ko talaga maano. Yan yung ko sa kanya. As far as the learning areas go, bago ko pasukin itong tinatanong niya, I agree with removing MTB. Magalit na yung magalit dyan. Uulitin ko, when I was teaching grade 3, on my end, ang MTB na hawak ko is Bisaya. Davaoenyo na Bisaya. But, I cannot teach it sa Davaoenyong Bisaya dahil I have students who come from Luzon at that time na transferees, dalawa. And then I have 3 students coming from Western Mindanao. One was from Hulo, who doesn't speak Bisaya. And then one was Yakan, and I think both were from Basilan. Now, majority of my students were Maranao. And then, a number of them, the next would be Tausug. And then a few, Bisaya. So, in my classroom, ang classroom ko napaka-diverse. I have Tagalog students. I have Tausug students. I have Yakan students. Magkaiba yan sila ng language, Magkaiba yan ng dialect. I have Maranao students and I have Bisaya students. Anong MTB tuturo ko dyan? Hindi ka maintindihan ng mga batang yan ng Bisaya. Alam niyo yung ginawa ko? I taught math, translating it. Yung textbook kasi is English pa, kasi walang textbook na Bisaya na math that time. I read it in English, I translated it in Bisaya, and then I translated it in Tausug, and then I translated it in Tagalog, and then I tried to translate it in Maranao by the help of my student who can speak Maranao and Bisaya fluently. So paano kung yung yung buong learning area talaga is MTB yun? Tapos sinugbuan ng Bisaya yung gagamitin namin. Yung classroom ko masisira. Kaya wala talaga ako dyan sa MTB. I do not support it. Okay yan siya siguro kung homogeneous yung classroom. Iisa lang yung dialect nila. Increasing the NRP, National Reading Program, and the National Mathematics Program. Increasing its advocacy or strengthening it. Okay. I am part of the National Reading Program. I am part of the Technical Working Group of the National Reading Program. NTWG. We started working on the National Reading Program last 2022. After the World Teachers' Day. I was informed to be part of the National Technical Working Group on the celebration of the World Teachers' Day here in Davao City. For 2 years, hindi ko pa po nakikita yung buong output namin. Yung buong draft ng framework ng National Reading Program. May nagawa na ba kami? Yes. Marami na ba kami nagawa? Yes. Natapos ba namin? Yes. But I have yet to see the policy itself na permado ni Secretary. So to see it within the matatag curriculum, medyo nag-wonder ako. Anong i-implement na NRP kung yung framework hindi pa nga nailalabas? In the same token, anong i-implement na National Mathematics Program if hindi rin nailalabas yung NMP? We did trainers, NTOT, nag-train kami. In Cebu and in Laguna, nag-train kami ng mga representatives from the regional and division offices for the National Reading Program. From cover to cover. Sa MNE ako na-assign. I was with an SDS and school head. Tatlo kami. We were assigned in the MNE. I discussed the tool that was going to be used for the NRP. Pero I have yet to see the policy itself, yung policy framework, yung buong policy na nakapapel na, yung black and white. Hindi ko pa yun nakikita. So, paano po natin i-implement yun sa matatag curriculum kung wala pa nga yung buong policy? Uulitin ko, wala akong problema sa matatag curriculum kung ang purpose ng matatag curriculum ay padaliin ito sa end ng mga bata. Pero ang hinahanap ko po yung black and white, yung nakasulat na, yung maliwanag na nakalagay na. This is it. This is what we're going to implement. Yun yung gusto ko makita. Hindi ko pa nakikita eh. Gusto ko makita ang NMP. As a mathematics major myself, as a trainer sa K-12 ng grade 4 mathematics who was trained in UP. Nagbubuhat ako ng bangko. Gusto ko makita ang National Mathematics Program na framework. Yung buong papel na, yung itsura niya. Kasi nung trinain kami sa grade 4 mathematics ng K-12 sa UP, ang galing ng mga trainers namin. Shout out sa UP. UP Nismed, shout out sa inyo. Ang galing ng mga trainers ninyo. Hands down. Ang dami ko natutunan sa inyo that time. Sobra. UP Nismed, hands down talaga. Saludo. Paano nyo tinuro yung science and mathematics? Paano nyo kami trinain? I tried to do justice dito sa region namin when I trained the grade 4 na mathematics K-12 curriculum last 2015. I did try my best. Kasi ang ganda ng pagkakatraining nyo sa amin. So gusto ko makita yung NMP. Pero hindi ko makita. As part of the technical working group ng NRP, wala pa ako nakikita na ipinablish na ba yung natapos ng team. So, next week, magkakaroon na ng training sa ano namin, sa aming end naman. Yung mga teachers naman namin ang i-train, kinder, grade 1 and grade 4. So, medyo apprehensive talaga ako sa matatag curriculum. Ulitin ko, di ko makita yung legal basis niya. Yung K-12, may legal basis. Matatag curriculum revamps K-10, which is part of K-12. So, dapat may legal basis din siya. Kung sinasabi ninyo na yung executive order na nagsususpend ng RPMS as the framework ng IPCRF, part ng IPCRF yung RPMS, kung sinasabi nyo, suspended din yung IPCRF kasi part ng IPCRF ang RPMS and suspended ang RPMS, so kung may execute yun sa by the executive order, then therefore, there should also be a clear legal basis that would tell us that the matatag curriculum should be implemented. Kasi, binago niya yung kindergarten to grade 10. Part ng kindergarten to grade 10 na curriculum na binago niya is part ng K-12 curriculum which has a legal basis. May maliwanag yun na legal basis. So, gusto kong ring makita yung legal basis. So, kung wala, well, we will always follow the instructions kasi tayo yung nasa field tayo yung frontliners Tuloy pa rin tayo, pero these are my concerns. Yan. Second, NRP and NMP. Saan yung program framework niya na naka-black and white? Di ko pa nakikita. Ang ending kasi niyan, ang mangyayari, kanya-kanya. Yung teacher, magtuturo siya ng reading, kahit hindi naman talaga siya marunong magturo ng reading. By the book siya magtuturo, marungko, Cartilla approach, ganun. Kahit yung bata, memorize na yung alphabet, alam niya yung letter sounds, ang ending, hindi rin mag-progress yung bata kasi si ma'am, si sir, hindi naman talaga niya forte yung reading. And uulitin ko, masakit man talaga sabihin, not everyone can teach mathematics. Not everyone can teach mathematics. Just because you know how the mathematics work, how to solve a problem in elementary, sa grade 1 to grade 6 na mga word problems, it doesn't necessarily mean pwede na silang magturo ng math. I even ask the students, sequence lang, basic sequence. 0.1, 0.2, hanggang sa 0.9. Ano ang kasunod? Lahat, sumagot, 0.10. Wherein, 0.1 and 0.10 are the same. Decimals lang. Decimals lang yun. Imagine that. Sequence lang, nilagay ko sa blackboard. Sunod-sunod. 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.9. Sabi ko, anong kasunod ng 0.9? 0.10. 0.10 and 0.1 are the same. Hindi marunong yung bata magbilang ng decimals. Sequence lang yun. So meaning kahit marunong mag-add ng mga numbers with decimals yung bata, the concept behind addition, which is sequencing. Kasi yun yung concept ng addition sequencing. When you 1 plus 1 equals 2. When you add another 1 equals 3. When you add another 1 equals 4. Yun yung point ng sequencing. That's addition. So, meaning yung concept behind addition, hindi pala marunong yung bata. Hindi niya naintindihan yung concept ng addition of decimals. Kasi hindi siya marunong mag-sequence. Shock ako! So not everyone can teach math effectively. Lagyan natin ng condition. Not everyone can teach math effectively. Lagyan natin ng condition. Maybe everyone can teach math, but not everyone can teach math effectively. So, paano kung reading? I've had this assumption, and I hope someone can prove this to be right or wrong in the future. Maybe the reason, this is my hypothesis. Maybe the reason why students hate math, is because the teachers did not teach math well. Yan po ang hypothesis ko. Maybe the reasons students hate math is because their teachers did not teach math well. To my professor sa high school, sa Laboratory School, University of Southeastern Philippines, Obrero Campus. Sir Gimo, sir, salamat sa pagtudlo sa mua og algebra, trigo, stat, not stat, kasi sir, basa yung stat, o analjom, o calculus. Salamat, kay gipalisod-lisuran minimo sa lab school. Pag-abot na ko sa Ateneo, na-shock ko, dali araday sa matoy. I hated math when I was in high school, but when I went to Ateneo in college, I found out math was an easy subject. Shout out kay Sir Limo, Sir Limaligalig. Sir, doon ko na-appreciate yung math because we were taught the hard questions when we were in high school. So when it came to college, okay, fine, ganito lang pala siya kadali. So yun yung presumption ko. I hope somebody can prove me wrong or prove me right. That's the assumption. That's my hypothesis. Maybe the reason why students hate math is because they were not taught math well. Last part sa tanong mo, yun yung sasagutin ko, which is the recalibration of the time allotment per learning area. It has been disseminated already by a number of workshops sa ibang divisions and avenues from different regions yata eh. Pinopost na nila ito eh. Napakaraming screenshots na pinakita nito nakikita ko sa Facebook. And yun nga, na yung recalibration ng mga learning areas, lahat na ng learning areas will be 45 minutes regardless of being part of the matatag curriculum or not. So, kung hindi ka pa na-implement yung matatag curriculum sa'yo, example, grade 2 and 3, and grade 5 and 6, grade 8, 9, and grade 8 and 9 and 10. Tama ba? So, hindi pa kasi sila part ng matatag curriculum this coming school year. But, it is already declared dun sa mga workshops nila na yun nga raw, i-recalibrate na daw yung mga learning areas into 45 minutes na lahat. Okay. Wala nang problema dun. I don't think it's an issue. Honestly, it's not an issue. It's not much of a big deal. The problem there is, wala pa rin nga yung paper. Wala pang black and white. So sana ilagay muna nila sa isang policy. Kasi nga, yung DepEd Order 21 Series of 2019, nakastipulate talaga doon. Maliwanag. DO 21 ba? If I'm not mistaken, if my memory serves me correct, it's DepEd Order number 21 Series of 2019, yung K-12 na policy, nakalagay talaga doon na per learning area, ganito. Ang grade 1 to grade 3, ito yung grade 4 to grade 6, ganun, nakalagay talaga dun. Maliwanag yung time allotment per learning area. So, dapat may policy din na ilalabas yung ating mother agency that would support these claims or these instructions that are being disseminated in the workshops or in the trainings that are being conducted for the Matatag curriculum right now. Kasi mahirap na nakikita lang natin siya sa Facebook, na nasa newsfeed lang, sinishare yung mga images ng mga pinicturan ng mga slides, na yun yung nakalagay. Kasi hindi naman kasi problema yan eh. Madali naman kasi yan siya na maliit na bagay. And, well, may NDA kasi ka ba? Pumirma kasi kami ng NDA sa NRP. NDA, pumirma kami ng non-disclosure agreement when we joined the NRP, kaya hindi ko ma-discuss yung mga laman ng NRP. And even the things that we agreed on during the different workshops that we attended. Kasi nga 2 years 2 years kami nag-workshop para lang sa NRP eh. So, hindi ko ma-share, but pero yun nga, hanggat walang black and white, walang paper na nagsasabi na permado ni Secretary, may it be Secretary Angara or former Secretary VP Sec, Inday Sara, about the time allotment per learning area, hanggat wala po yun, mahirap i-implement. And lastly, to further your concern, if the Matatag curriculum changes the learning areas that are being implemented in kindergarten to grade 10, ibig sabihin nun, SF9 and SF10 will also be altered. Kasi po, ang SF9 is designed within the policy that is instructed on DepEd Order Number 8, Series of 2015. Yung template ng SF9 nagmula po doon sa DepEd Order Number 8. Yung template ng SF10 nagmula sa DepEd Order Number 58, Series of 2017. Ibig sabihin, may mga existing policies ang mga school forms na School Form 9 and School Form 10. School Form 9, the report card. School Form 10, the permanent record. Remember that the school permanent record is being used even in the Congress as a legitimate document. Yung mga nag-a-abroad ang hinihingi sa school, yung School Form 10, yung permanent record. Kasi nga daw, yun yung ipapa-verify ng identity ng bata or ng tao. In fact, registered, as a few registrars or a certain registrar came to me telling me, sir, hinihingi yung permanent record ng bata. Kasi gagamitin pang claim sa inheritance. Kasi legit daw yung document ng SF10, sir. Imagine that! Napakalaki ng impact ng School Form 10. Yan. Tapos, sabihin lang nila na sa checking of school forms, wala lang, malit na bagay lang. No! It's a big deal. Tapos, kung meron nang i-implement na Matatag curriculum, binago niya yung learning area ng grade 1 at babaguhin niya yung mga learning areas successively on the next few years, it would also imply, kailangan natin baguhin yung report card and the permanent record. Kasi nga, permanent. Permanent. Ibig sabihin ng permanent, it must not be altered. Permanent. So we must declare a concrete policy that should be written that will tell na babaguhin ang SF9 and SF10. So kung babaguhin siya, Let's be clear. Lagay sa policy. And then the computation of the learning areas as declared and stipulated within DepEd Order Number 8, Series of 2015, or the policy guidelines on the assessment and evaluation within the K-12 curriculum. Wow! Naalala ko pa. But something like that. Kasi nakalagay doon kung paano i-compute ang bawat learning area eh. So, dapat meron ding ganon para sa matatag curriculum. Per learning area. Para malaman natin kung i-recalibrate din ba natin yung ating electronic class record. Diba? Kasi kung kailangan natin i-recalibrate yung electronic class record, i-recalibrate natin. We must request the SED ng Central Office to recalibrate it. Kaya naman siguro nila yan. Madali naman yung pagkakagawa namin ng electronic class record eh. O kami rin yung gumagawa niyan. Imagine. Kami rin yung gumagawa niyan. 2015 yan, nung ginawa namin. So, ang laki po, hindi po maliit na bagay ang matatag curriculum. It's a big deal. It's not a minor change in our government, in our agency. So I hope ma-clear out siya, no? But at the end of the day, tayo pong lahat, you and I, mga nasa field, kung sa chess pa, pawn lang man tatanan, or just pawns. We move as instructed, as frontliners in our quest to fight against illiteracy in our country. Dami ko nang pinagsabi, no? Nakaisang oras na ako, 1 hour and 9 minutes. So, salamat sa lahat ng nanood. Impromptu to, wala nga, trip ko lang. Gusto ko lang maglabas ng hinanaing ko kasi 3 araw akong may sakit, may lagnat ako. And then, yung mga nakita ko sa internet, kasi nasa bahay lang ako, yun nga, yung 20 million na food budget, yung MMDA ramp, yung secretary ng DILG na artista, kakapikon. Tapos yung mga issues regarding the matatag curriculum. Ayaw ko munang pag-usapan yung 6 hours and 8 hours na issue na yan. May na-share sa akin na tanong ngayon. Ayaw ko munang pag-usapan yan. Baka bukas na. Bukas natin pag-usapan yan. Share ko sa inyo kung ano yung sinabi. Basahin ko na lang yung tanong. Sige, basahin ko yung tanong. Bukas ko na ito sasagutin. Baka mag-live ako bukas. Sagutin natin to. Medyo sana yun? Ito yung kanina Pinawala. Binuksan ko na Pinawala. Teka. Basahin ko lang para malaman nyo kung ano natin yung magiging topic natin bukas. Baka, kung mag-online ako bukas. Nangyari dito. Trip na naman itong cellphone ko. Kakainis din talaga ito. Yung cellphone na kailangan ko na talaga palitan to Kailangan ko na palitan tong cellphone na to Nakakailang taon na rin ito Ito, basahin ko. Ito. Hi! Hi, Sir Weds! Try natin basahin the way it was written, Hi, Sir Weds! Na ako ask, still sa 6 hours actual teaching, ana among principal, wala daw sa instruction ni SDS. Yang ingon, pwede daw ang 2 hours remaining pwede trabahoon outside school premises. Pero, meron talagang bat, alam mo yun? Lalagyan talaga ng bat. Ang yang ingon, pwede daw ang 2 hours remaining, pwede trabahoon outside school premises, pero mubalik og school para mo time in og out para mo abot og 8 hours. Mao ba jud ni? Ay, bukas ko na yan sasagutin. Brr.